Well, first thing, my name's Arnie Riebli. David, you butchered it about 5 times, so it's Riebli. Sunrise Farms, and let me throw out the disclaimers first. The statements made up here this morning are my own opinions and don't represent anybody else's. Sunrise Farms is in the business of producing fresh shell eggs destined primarily for Northern California consumers. We also produce grapes, wine, beef, sheep, and hay silage. We've been in the business of producing eggs continuously for about 100 years. Today we handle approximately 1 million eggs per day, coming from some 1.3 million plus birds. 85% of what we produce is consumed within a 65-mile radius of Petaluma. The other thing that we produce on a daily basis is chicken poop, a lot of chicken poop. Approximately 225,000 pounds a day. That's every day of every week of every year. Going back over the last 100 years, you may know or recall that Petaluma was once called the egg basket of the world. This was back in the late 40s and the early 50s. At that time, there were approximately 2,700 egg farms in the North Bay, Marin, Sonoma, and Napa counties. Today, there are 2 companies, and those 2 companies own about 20 farms. My company owns about 15 of the 20. From the very early days, hens were let out in the ground, and this lasted through the 1950s. Changes in production technologies occurred for several reasons, mostly having to do with animal health and food safety. However, one of the things that showed up at later dates in the 70s and 80s was the fact that the outdoor access that the hens had contributed to significant groundwater contamination. I mention this in passing because I believe that on a go-forward basis we have to consider past experiences. Today, all poultry waste that we generate is stored under a roof and on concrete surfaces. For many years, poultry waste handling and removal has been a major concern to our company, to the point that I consider it a liability. However, it's a liability that does and can have significant value. From a fertilizer standpoint, chicken poop is one of the best natural fertilizers because of the nitrogen content that can be applied to soil for crop production. What are the liabilities? Well, the first is storage until time of need. The second is the fact that when produced, chicken poop is 65% water. So when transporting it, we're hauling a lot of water. That has a negative value. The third, and equally important, is nitrogen stability. Fresh poop has about 4% usable nitrogen. However, after about 2 or 3 days, the nitrogen volatilizes and becomes ammonia gas, producing the nitrogen content down to as low as 1%. The ammonia gas is the odor that you may smell, stinky manure odor. Fresh poop really has no odor, believe it or not. So the challenge for us is how we can convert a liability into an asset. This is something I've been investigating for the past 15 plus years. I've traveled to many places in the world looking at different methodologies for handling poultry waste. I've viewed many different systems, far too many to enumerate here this morning. About 2 years ago, I was approached by a fellow by the name of John Martin, who represented a company called BioStar with a business plan to convert my waste to methane gas and then to electricity, and then taking the waste stream from the methane digester and convert that to an organic E. coli-free fertilizer. I was intrigued, but I laughed, and I told him, hey, this is California. And not only is it California, but this is Sonoma County, California. If you could put this thing together, and something that might work, come on back and talk to me, but I don't think it'll ever happen. I'd be interested in hearing if you can do it. I suggested that when he made his presentation to the public, that he have his car pointed out the driveway with the door open, the engine running, and the gas tank full. He left, and I forgot about it. This very same time, my partners and I were having very serious discussions among ourselves about the possibility of just shutting our business down because of the passage in 2008 of Prop 2. the Farm Animal Welfare Act. We knew that Prop 2 would require that we invest a significant amount of capital, probably in the neighborhood of $20 million. So there were several forces at play in this particular time. Also in play, unbeknownst to me, was the renewable energy demands made by the state on local agencies. BioStar made a presentation to the County of Sonoma for providing renewable energy. The county in turn said, hey, we can use this to help offset the renewable energy mandate. At the same time, the economy tanked. So now all the forces were in motion. The county needs renewable energy. One of my major liabilities can be mitigated. Because we employ a significant number of people, the political forces don't want us to shut down the business. Sunrise Farms has a good reason to stay in business. In a matter of 2 weeks, through a lot of collaboration on the part of many people and agencies, a plan was put together that would help to resolve concerns on the part of many people, not the least of whom were my employees. This brings us to the present time. At 1 p.m. this afternoon, Sonoma BioStar, of which my company is a joint venture partner, will present an EIR and a SECA report to the BZA at the Board of Supervisors chambers. If all goes as we believe it will, Sonoma BioStar could start construction in September of this year and have the project up and running by mid-year 2012 at a cost of approximately $55 million, none of which will encumber the taxpayer. This is a private project. It will be the first of its kind in the United States and quite possibly be a blueprint for many similar plants to be constructed across this great country. For me, it's very exciting, and I eagerly anticipate going to see its fruition. Thank you, and I will try to answer any questions that you may have.